All right, this is Josh, and welcome to part 2 of the Walther PDP review. Last time, if you've seen my first review, and hopefully you have, if not, check out my channel or see below. You should be able to find the video. That's where I talk about the PDP as really just the platform in general, what my initial impressions were at the pistol, really before I fired it much. So we're going to be talking a bit about some real-world practical shooting application of this now that I've shot this quite a bit. At this point, I have about 2,000 to 3,000 rounds through the Walther PDP full size, and I feel pretty qualified to talk a bit more about it. So at this point, I think I've fired probably about 3,000 rounds through about 8 or so matches, including 3 different majors. Across these majors, I've shot IDPA, USPSA, including Area 1. And something I've been keeping an eye on too, I actually have 2 PDPs now. One for carry and, well, honestly just really a backup. So carry and a backup, but they're the exact same gun. Both the 4.5 inch full size with a SRO. So this is the one that I've been shooting pretty much non-stop. This gun has been fantastic. As far as durability and reliability at this point, there's been 0 malfunctions that I would attribute to the gun at all. So non-stop shooting different types of loads. I've changed my load. I've shot all sorts of different like factory ammo through it in practice sessions. This gun, I'm pretty comfortable saying, is 100% reliable in my experience. The only time I've experienced a hiccup with this gun or have nothing to do with the gun itself. One was a overloaded competition mag, which I wouldn't have expected any gun to cycle. Like it wasn't smart for me to do that at the match because it choked up trying to load with the mag pressure being so extreme. And I thought that might happen, but I tried to send it and it didn't work. Otherwise, the only other time it failed was with case gauge fail ammo, which is in my fail bin, which is like 50-50 ammo if it'll even cycle or not, and I use it for practice just to kind of get through it since I've already loaded it. And I would expect any gun to fail on that. So otherwise, with my match ammo, factory ammo, 100%, this thing will eat anything. Really impressed there. And honestly, you know, not to put this on a pedestal, like I would expect that pretty much of any modern production gun out there. So like the bar is pretty high just in general with modern firearms. But that said, the thing's a champ. No issues at all. Okay, let's talk about the texturing of this gun. That was something I focused on in the first video quite a bit. I'm a huge fan of it. It's basically like these little pyramids that are they're hard, but they're also kind of squishy, like in the most moderate sense of the term squishy. But how have these held up? So I've shot this in 110 degree heat. I shot this in mildly cold weather. I shot this in rainy weather at matches. I've had 0 issues with this texturing, and it has held up extremely well. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it from this video perspective, but one of the things I was potentially concerned with is because this is a little bit tactile and kind of almost like bendy in a way. Again, it's mostly hard, but I was worried it's going to start wearing down. And granted, I've been shooting it about 6 months now overall. Well, probably more about like 4 or 5 months, but I haven't seen really any kind of wear down. These edges are still really sharp. In a good way. Like I haven't seen any problems with that. Like they're not smoothing out. One good thing about this design too is that there's also a lot of dusty sand when I was shooting at the Oregon State USPSA Championship, and it got in all of these kind of in between like these pyramids here on the grip itself, and it didn't affect anything, right? So it just kind of sunk in or it just brushed off. Had 0 effect on the grip of the gun. I typically use chalk on the backs of my hands at least. Chalking on the gun obviously is only going to help the grip, but nothing as far as other materials, dust, dirt, water, have really affected the grip other than what you'd expect. So that's been pretty impressive. As far as the optic reliability of the optic plate, this is something that got brought up. There's a couple videos of people doubting the design and the engineering of the optic plate itself. This is something that Walther was pretty confident about. I have had 0 issues with this optic. So I have like these, I forget what it's called, but these indicators on the screws themselves. They haven't moved once. I haven't adjusted the screws once. I've racked the slide with the optic multiple times. Typically with this gun, because the serrations are so good, I'll grab it up here, and that's a little bit easier. One thing with the Walther and a lot of like polymer semi-autos is the cam point is right here. So if you rack it with the optic, because it's right over the chamber, it'll actually kind of suck your skin into the chamber and you'll pinch yourself. So that's what I did with my CZs because the optic's a little bit further back. With the PDP, I started really grabbing it up here and got really used to it. It's so tactile up here that it's actually really easy to do. But that said, zero issues in the thousands of rounds I've shot it. It's not loosening, it's rock solid. There doesn't seem to be any kind of design issues there. Trigger-wise, the trigger feels, and I have a brand new Walther here as well. This is the exact same gun. The trigger feels the exact same. So I wouldn't say like the trigger is noticeably improved that much, but it's good out of the box, so it's not really an issue. Same kind of really light take up just to a wall, and then quick break, really tactile, reset, boom. So yeah, no complaints there, and most of that was covered in my first video. Some cool developments since the last video, and one of the reasons I've waited so long to upload is, one, I have like 6 matches of like match footage from both a major IDPA and USPSA events to add to the clips here that I'm going through. But in addition to that, since switching to this gun, just like a general thing I've been pushing toward is moving to GM and USPSA. That's been a huge goal of mine. Regardless of gun, has nothing to do with this gun. But needless to say, in the last couple weeks, I ticked over into Grandmaster, so I was pretty excited about that. A lot of years of hard work that's gone into that, regardless of the gun. That said, something I'm pretty proud of is making GM with a stock polymer gun. That stock polymer gun being this gun. So I'm gonna kind of throw that in there. You know, there's a lot of like hearsay around like, oh, you need a nice gun, you need a super nice trigger, you need like a tuned out gun. If you recall from the first video, I shoot, normally I shoot an A01 SD, which is probably one of the most expensive carry optics guns you can buy and build. So that said, this is on the opposite end of the spectrum. Not the cheapest polymer gun out there, but at $600, it's pretty basic, a kind of entry cost similar to a Glock. So this is the gun that I made GM with. I got, I think, 4 out of my 6 runs to make over 95%. Ended up at like 96.9%, I think. With this gun right here, bone stock. So this is a bone stock trigger, stock recoil spring, no different grips. I'm just using the medium grips, no plugs, no weights, no tungsten guide rod. Yeah, bone stock. So was pretty psyched about that, and I think it's just a testament to, honestly, you can do this with any gun if you put in enough work. But it's a testament to the gun that like this is definitely wasn't the factor that held me back. And talking about, you know, what kind of gun you can use, you can go, you know, you can throw the kitchen sink in there and spend up to $3K on a carry optics gun, or you can spend $600 on a carry optics gun. The difference is really the training and the dedication you put in. So yeah, I don't know if that's really a shout out for Walther or not, but I'm obviously a big fan of the gun, and switching between a double action, single action CZ with a super clapped out trigger and this thing with a stock polymer trigger made almost no difference in my shooting at all. One thing I will say about moving to a polymer gun from a heavy gun, it's not really specific to this gun, but this gun is so much lighter. I think this is less than half the weight of even the A01 SD. You can really just, you know, get moving, you pull it out of the holster much faster, transitions are arguably faster. So there's some benefits to having a lighter gun, and I think I've kind of gone back and forth over the years. One thing about this gun is that obviously if you shoot a heavy gun and then shoot this, it's going to feel like a jackhammer. That said, you shoot like half a match with it, you're going to immediately adjust to that, and you're just tracking the recoil faster, or it's going to be a little bit snappier just because it's a lighter gun. It's not going to make a big difference in your shooting once you just adjust your vision to that dot. So I would say it's more of like kind of a snappier tracking versus more of a slow, kind of methodical kind of pushback with a heavier gun, even shooting the same. And that's on 147s, but it's going to apply to any round you're shooting. So yeah. Well, that concludes the review. I have a lot of other match videos that I've posted if you're interested. I referenced them a couple times. That said, it was really cool on the first video seeing all the engagement I got on the initial review. Hopefully you like this video. I put a lot more time into it than the first one. Hopefully that's evident. At least with the editing. Definitely still learning. So if you like the content, please let me know. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Totally down to do more reviews. I have a bunch of different guns. I know I've referenced the A01 platform for CZ. Not a lot of content out there on it. I have a few of them, and I would love to do a review on that. If you're interested, let me know. Otherwise, until next time.